Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah. Tonight I'm answering a question that came in from a young man who's having some issues with his boss at work. It's one of his first jobs and there's a bit of a personality clash there, and he's received some feedback from his boss that he can be a bit intimidating and that he can be defensive when she's trying to give him feedback. Now, this really caught the young man off guard. It's certainly not his intention to come across as defensive. And, he explained to me that, sometimes she makes statements that he does disagree with, or he needs to stick up for himself because she doesn't have all the information. And sometimes she's accusing him of things that, haven't happened, or it hasn't gone that way. And because she's in the leadership position, he said, I feel like, I'm not being heard, and then because she said I get defensive, I'm just not sure how to approach this. So I want to share with you tonight the information and the advice that I gave to this young man, and it's advice that I'm giving to a lot of people at the moment. And that advice is get curious, not furious. Get curious, not furious. Curiosity is one of the most important skills to develop if you want to improve your communication in any way with anyone. When we get curious, we ask questions. And it's often the linking statements that we put at the start of these sentences that are the really important thing for making it come across as curiosity and not interrogation or aggressive. So when I say get curious and ask questions, you're not responding by saying, well, what do you mean? What's that about? Okay, because that's not going to go down well, and it is going to appear defensive because communication is tone and body language as well. But curiosity might look like this. You might say, wow, okay, so that's really different to the way I see that situation. To help me understand where you're coming from, can you tell me more about that? It might be something like, to make sure I'm clear what you're saying, can you give me some examples where I've demonstrated that behavior so that I really understand where you're coming from? When you approach it that way, with genuine curiosity, it does a whole heap of things. Number one, as I said to this young man, that will stop you appearing defensive, because instead of coming back and responding, you are seeking to understand first. Tell me more is essentially what you're saying. Now, this does some other things as well as not appearing defensive. It will help you manage your emotions because you're putting a pause between your reaction and your response. So by saying, okay, that's really different. Can you tell me more about that so I understand? So now I'm taking a deep breath while you give me that information. I'm also listening a lot better because instead of assuming I know what you mean, I'm getting that information. And by listening, the other person feels like they're being heard, which is really important as well, because if I do disagree with what you've said when you've given me some more information, and I respond in a really considered way, saying, okay, so I hear what you've said. However, from my perspective, this is what happened. The other person is more likely to listen to you because you have listened to them. Okay? So, curiosity. Get curious, not furious. Even if someone says something, that you really disagree with, that is so different to how I think it should be done. Can you tell me more about that? Because you might not have all the information you need. Now, if the person is one of those people out there, and there are unfortunately these people who are a bit malicious and like to just lob grenades, make unfounded accusations with nothing to back them up. If you are super reasonable and you ask for some more information or some examples so that you really get where they're coming from, if it's just a grenade to stir the pot, they won't have anything to back them up. Okay, they won't be able to share with you. But if it's genuine They really will be able to. So it's a sign, particularly for this young man, if he approaches these conversations with genuine curiosity, it's also going to show you a level of maturity, so that if this leader does start tossing around accusations, or getting, quite aggressive or, directive or emotional herself, he's showing that, hey, I'm being the really balanced, fair, reasonable one here. I'm going to be doing some more work on curiosity coming up, and I'd love your questions. So I want you all to practice this week. Get curious, not furious. This is something I'm working on myself. There are a lot of things that make me furious, and it's okay to get furious about some things, but rather than, just dismiss it, I'm trying to think, where are they coming from? Now, I don't always have an answer for that, let me tell you, but if I start from curiosity, I'm more likely to have engaged, effective communication. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've got a communication or soft skill question, send it through. I would love to answer it, and have a great night. Cheers.